Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody. Glad to have you. Welcome back, Carolina Keith, Professor Keith, regular Keith, just Keith. Good to see you all. Glad to have you back. Thursday are always cool to me. I appreciate everyone showing up on Thursdays like this. So bear with me if you would. I'm trying to work out the bugs on this streaming software. I switched it up to a different resolution. It's supposed to be better. We'll see. I know it seems a little odd right now with the borders and stuff around it. I got to work that out. Not the point. The point is, I think I got it outputting into a different level, so it should stream a little better. That's the idea, because we're getting some issues where the thing wasn't coming out in the right output, which is really frustrating for me. I hate it when the wrong output doesn't come through. So, either way, good to see everybody. I was expecting kind of what happened yesterday to happen. We've been talking about it over in the Discord a good bit. The thumbnail of this title for this live stream was about volatility. Well, we finally got that yesterday. Later in the afternoon, we got that volatility come in, which was excellent. It's kind of what I was looking for. So let's talk about it, shall we? If you haven't done so, please go hit like. It's free. We don't charge anything for likes around here. Let me move this into the center of the screen where everybody can see it, kind of like that. Let me do that again. Shall we? And we shall. That's better. All right, cool. So now I've got the screen kind of stretched out into a bigger format where it should have a little bit better visibility for everyone. I know I'm broadcasting out in 1080. I know it. I know I am. I spent a good bit of time doing that today. What you guys can't see is I record in 4K. But YouTube only allows so much bit rate coming on their side. There's nothing I can do about that. So, nonetheless, I think it's important to understand I'm doing the best I can with it over here. Technology isn't amazing as you would think, unless you're some like top level streamer, and I ain't that. I meant to write down what everyone asked me to look at, so let me pull that up now. Before we get started here, I want to make sure I got everybody's stuff in. I'm gonna do this real quick. Right there, we'll do that, and then we'll go through here and see what everyone requested. I'm gonna write these down real fast. New piece of paper for everybody. Hope everyone had an awesome week. It's been busy over here on my end. All right, VET, Apple, Google, and PLTR. Somebody asked for Algo. All right. WTK and Roku. And all right, cool. I think someone asked for something over here. ICP. Someone asked for let's see what else. Solana. Someone asked for Maker MKR. All right, cool. Let me double check my output real fast. I don't know if it'll let me change it midstream, but it's worth a try, right? No, I can't. I can't. All right, so yeah, it's still not as high bit rate as I wanted it to be, but I'll fix that. Don't worry. Give me a little time on that, and I'll get that fixed. I should have it fixed next stream. It should still come out better quality than it was. All right, if that makes sense. It should come out better quality than it was. Real quick, let's say hey to everyone. There's already a good bit in here. What's up, Tex? Good to see you. Jag, Colo, King of Light says, hey, brother. Rich asked me if you would check out Maker. No problem. Tell the champ anything, but we got your back. What's up, Jerry Monroe? He's not even drunk yet. Dab, good to see you. Raging Beagle, Cycling Cotton, Anonymity, Rope-a-Dope, Quigs the Vicious, what the red line did launch pass cross, also known as connectivity problems. That's what. Good day, La Familia. We'll figure out the 726, 680. Oh, hey, guess what? Cheesy. Hey, guess what? I got a Folsters. Oh, that's still going. Let me turn that off. Crypto 77. Good to see you. URNMSHX. URNMSHX. Sir Sigma. Hus Raya, good to see you. Lunatic Prophet, Eric Denim Logic, good to see you. All right, let's get into this. King Light says your intro music always gets me pumped. Bro, I'm awesome. I appreciate that, dude. I used to have some other intro music and I actually changed it. So let's talk about what we got today. The volatility that we saw come in on crypto. Most of it was Bitcoin. A few alts moved, but really mostly it was Bitcoin. So let's jump into that now. I'm going to pull up moving averages here so you can kind of see. We always do a quick, simple moving average check. They're our basis for what we're looking for. You guys see how I already had this purple arrow drawn, kind of rolling over here, quitting. All right, the reason I had that was I saw all these moving averages up here about to cross. All these moving averages crossing like this show me there's a good possibility we could be having crosses up here with price action checking back up to them. We call this a tits cross. When we see price move up like we saw toward a crossing, when we have a crossing of moving averages like we've got right here coming, it's actually a death cross. That's 50 through the 200. That's called a death cross. Typically, we see price action move back toward that happening, and that's exactly what you've seen happen. We said this a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that this might be happening, and it's finally happening. I actually posted in the Discord a low time frame picture of this, and I said, hey, man, I kind of expect this to happen. I expect these liquidity zones to clear up, and I expect that volatility to come in. And what did I mean by that? Well, take these moving averages back off. Whenever you have very large dramatic moves like you have right here, with these very dramatic falls and these very dramatic rises, liquidity gaps form. And what I mean by a liquidity gap is a big gap where there was no retrace and it was all momentum in one direction. Those typically tend to fail and go back the opposite way. That's exactly what's happened here multiple times. You had a very sharp down and a liquidity grab coming back up. You had more sharp down, and you've got a start of another liquidity retrace coming back up. Now, this is kind of capped off a little bit by different things. One thing I already showed you was the daily moving average is kind of all in the way. There's also the 8 and the 21 EMA in the way, and we'll pull that back up one more time so you can kind of see that we're fighting with the 8 EMA now. We jumped in between the 8 and the 21 here. That's not bad. It's also not peaches and cream happy, right? It's not bad, but we need to see more improvement here. And I think our improvement is capped off by this 200, this 50, and this 100. We may see these moving averages all float kind of like this and start to ball up, which is good. We want to see that. I just drew a giant dick on the screen. Let me take that off. We want to see that happen. We want to see those moving averages flatten out, and we want to see them get all bunched up together, because when we see that, we typically see good volatility and good price action come in. We know we're winding down the bear market here. We want to see that. We want to see things stop doing what they were doing and reverse into doing what we want them to doing. That's the ticket, all right? That's what we want to see. Good news is not a ton of volatility coming yet. It got hung up between the 821 EMA this time. I think this is a bit of a head fake. I think everything you see from here forward for the next week or so will be a head fake. A lot of these fibs start to run out pretty soon. I'm not sure they're going to last out as long as they have been. Some alts looked a little better than others. Some looked a little worse. But I think we're just seeing here this thing play pity-pat back and forth with support and resistance over and over again, kind of drawing us into the bait. Now, we'll show you the Bollinger Bands here. This was on the thumbnail for the video, the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands show us something pretty cool. Whenever they get very tight together, like you see right here, they're very tight together and squeezing a bit. Whenever you see that happen, that's a sign of flatness on the chart and a sign that volatility will be coming in soon. These bands can get very tight. They will squeeze in very tight. You see how tight they were right here and how they're almost double the width right now. When that thing got tight, it was pinned down by the trend line, and then boom, down she came. Look for something similar to happen here again, right? Our upside is capped by those moving averages. So even if we get a move to the top, we're probably going to get this purple line roll over and quit. Remember, Septembers are usually gnarly. Multiple Septembers out of the last many have all been down. It's not much we can do about that. 720 seems better. I think I can get it up a little higher. I think I'll keep messing with that and get that up a little higher. I do have the frame rate really high. I'm going to try bumping back on the frame rate a little bit and try turning up on the resolution, if that makes sense. I can do that without eating up into the data too much, because what will happen is if I do this too much, well, then we're going to start clipping frames. And I don't want that to happen. Been there, done that, and fought that fight We ended up buying a streaming computer just so we could do that, right? So we could avoid that, I should say. That's what I see for Bitcoin right now. I know it feels like this is taking forever, and you're correct, it is. I want to show you some stuff here on the high time frames, which led me to think, hey, maybe we should just relax here and take a little bit of time. I actually shared this over on Twitter when I seen a really ridiculous post about how this is the longest bear market we've ever had, and you just survived it. And it was just pure 100% clickbait and engagement posting. It meant absolutely nothing. So the last few times we've had a bull run, we had breakouts that happened on the backside of those. I'm sorry, we had bear markets, and we had breakouts that happened on the backside of those. Here's 2013. Here's the last market we had. And here's the current one we just did. All three downtrends kind of took a while, but they broke. Once they broke, they took off in an upward fashion for the summer, right about here. I'll mark all those where they broke out. And I know it's very tiny on the screen, but I'm zoomed way out so we can see that, okay? So those green lines are the breakouts. All right, now I'm going to show you the tops here. I'm going to mark those in red. Those are the top of the bull market. Top of the bull market. And top of the bull market. Let's measure and see how far apart these were, shall we? I think we should. So first, from the top of this bull market to where we broke out, 575 days. From the top of this bull market to where we broke out, 476 days. From the top of this bull market currently to the next point, 434. That's shorter than the previous two bear markets. That's shorter than the previous two bear markets. Somebody's lying to somebody. It's either clickbait or straight BS. I just showed you right here, this has actually been shorter so far by a wide margin, in fact, than it has before. That's because the hash rate is slowly speeding up. Things are slowly going faster. All right. We know this because that's the way the mathematics of Bitcoin works. It's very cool, actually. Now, what I will show you here is after we had the breakout, let's measure how far we are past this breakout now and go look at the past ones. Okay. So right now we are about 238 days past it. Let's do the same thing here. We are about 238 days right there. We'll draw how about a white line for those. You can see where we're at in the line. Okay. And back here, let's do 238 back here also. Let's be fair across the board. Right there. So let's draw a white line here. Okay. So now we've got, as you see back here, all the way in 2016, which was the beginning of the big run back in 2016. You kind of had this sideways and down price action here. Can't really deny that. Not that hard to see. Sideways and down price action. Over here, hey, guess what? Sideways and down price action that did a whole bunch of nothing. Hey, guess what? Sideways and down price action doing a whole bunch of nothing. This is exactly what happened the last few times. This is actually good news because we can kind of see what's coming. Back here, we made sideways and up. Last run, sideways and up, if you take away the pandemic. What are we going to do this time? Well, I'm hopeful for sideways and up. Now, I will say things are a little different this time. You know, the last few times we weren't underneath all these big, massive, gnarly bear market lines like we are right now. See back here in February of 16, same timeline roughly, we were over top of all the moving averages. Way back here in 2020, same situation. We were over top of all the moving averages except the 821. We were over top of the 50, the 100, and the 200. Now, not so much. Kind of in between them. And this makes me think things may slow up a little bit and not go quite as fast as we want them to go. Okay? So I think we're going to get decent prices in here. because of that. And I'll move this line out here so we can see it a little bit better. But there you go. That's the weekly look where you're pinned under the 200. We know how the 200 moving average treats everything. It's a very, very hard line to break. The 50 moving average is way down here at 24,000. That's my first target if we start coming back down. I do like this weekly candle. That's a good weekly candle. If it can close there and hang on for another 3.5 days. I don't like this 100 moving average pinching down. It all looks like it's coming to a head over here in October or November. This is why I said what I said about October and November, right? Now, if we get back over these lines and then that happens in October, November, that's great. There's a lot of stuff in the way is the point. So things might not just rush to the line like everyone wants them to, okay? That makes sense to everybody? I certainly hope so. Let me go see if there's any questions. How does Foster's taste? I haven't tried it, but cheese is on here and we're going to try it. First of all, I didn't know Foster's cans were so big. That's what she said. They are, it doesn't say the ounces, but it's big. I'm going to say it's like a 18-ounce beer or something along those lines. Never had Foster's. Well, let's have a go. Shall we? And we shall. For cheese. Oi. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's not got a ton of flavor. It's got some decent hops, but it's not a massive amount of hops. Not bad. Don't most indicators prove the top hold on, wait a minute, I messed up the reading. Don't most indicators prove that the top was the first peak? I'm confused on what you mean. Had to reload the stream. It froze on me. Don't know what happened. I like the oil cans for camping. I'm not sure what you mean about don't most indicators prove that the top was the first peak. Oh, you mean over here. No, I mean, I'm going off peak, meaning the top of the bull market where everything stopped and went. And if I show you what I mean here, let me pull up the index again. Let me take all this off for you, and I'll show you what I mean here. Essentially, you got 4-year cycles, and this thing ran its time, and once it ran its time, it was over. Here we go. So we had our pretty normal amount of time back here from 2013 till 2017, from 2017 till 2022. There you go, 1,470, 1,428, pretty much damn near identical. You could argue that this back here was similar. I have a hard time hearing that argument, but they were almost identical as far as timeline. I think the best argument that I've heard for something other than the chart was that if you took this pandemic and you removed this shift down and didn't have that shift down, I'll show you a bars pattern here for what I mean, so it relates a little bit easier and it's not so complicated to see. If I took this pattern from here to here, and I didn't have it on the chart where it is, let's say I removed it from here. I just had this pattern up here. Now it's much cleaner and better looking. And I think we would have had a blow off top had this happened. However, that pandemic shifted everything down. And because everything shifted down, we didn't have those super high peaks like I thought we would get. Now, had we had that move up there, it would have been very similar to the previous 2 runs. You see that? Very similar. However, we didn't get that. We got that big gnarly down. Now, I don't think we get this big gnarly down, but there's not been a situation where we did not have some sort of double bottom. It came earlier back here in 2015. It came early. Back here, it was a little late. All right, now, are we going to get something similar here? Doesn't have to take much to do it. That's all I want to see is one little quick, and then it's got to be done. That's it. That's all I want. Fractal incoming. Where's the blue arrow, bro? I know. Did he just do Foster's live? He just did Foster's live. Possibly won't be allowed in Australia ever. Let's have another drink. It's not bad. It's not amazing or anything. It's just not bad. I've had much better beer. If not done already, could you please look at Matic? Oh, yeah, let me write these down, Scoopity Poop. Awesome name, by the way. Matic. AVAX Quant. And then we got Link DAG ADS coin. Link DAG ADS and coin. Coinos or, oh yeah, Coinos. I thought you might have meant Coinbase. First, let me do what I said I would do on Twitter, and let's jump over and check DAG first, shall we? And we shall. All right. So I've got the entire chart pulled up here that's on TradingView, and I could also pull up CoinTrader here so that we could see it. There we go. This is CoinTrader, where I have more historical data that goes all the way back to 2018 that I don't have on TradingView. So I'm going to show you what I've got now rather than later, because I think it's a little easier to see the smoothness of what we got here on TradingView. So I've pretty much used the same points. We're running out of time on this fib set. I went over fibs today in our Discord during our free classes. Our Discord is free for general access. The link is down below. All right. It's very simple to join. All you got to do is hit the verify here after you join, and you can come in and talk to us. You don't have to pay if you don't want. You don't get full access, but you can jump in and hang out. We talked about fibs and how they respect these fib lines very well. You can see how respectful DAG was. This is on a weekly chart of these fib lines all the way down. We've still not got back over this 618 fib. That's all the way up here at 3.25 cents. We still continue to hang out between the 68 fib and the 618 in between this zone here. We're running out of time. And by out of time, I mean this fib set ends at the end of the year. Even if I flip this around and I pull it the other direction, it still roughly ends at the end of the year. So do think by the end of the year, we'll see something important happen here on this, kind of on this weekly chart. It's just taken a while to play out. It took longer than I thought it would. There you go again, right? Got optimal sell period. That's going to shift a little bit, I think. Didn't quite do what I thought it would do. The good news is all this is still a support zone down here. And as long as it can stay above this support zone, somewhere right near here will be the bottom. All right, now I'm going to go to daily so I can show you a little bit better detail of this. So DAG did make a new low from July. It fell below that, made a lower low. However, it's still kind of maintaining the June low. So it's really close. Until some trends break here, you really don't have much to write home about. This is a very gnarly downtrend. I don't think anyone can argue that. That's just a gnarly ass downtrend that hasn't done much in the way of moving the needle for me. Every time you get a little green, it's pounded back by red. RSI, yes, it is in the gutter. As you see, overbought, big overbought. So we should see some sort of bounce. MACD, and I'm sorry, we had a thunderstorm here and it's kind of been raining on and off. So if it gets loud in the background, that's what it is. MACD trying to turn back up, but it kind of did the same thing back here with more down. So be careful until this trend breaks of all these secondary indicators. I don't think they're really necessary right now. Moving averages buried under every single one of them. In fact, you're about to get the 50 cross through the 100, which is the last cross available. After that, there are no more, and there should be no more rapid reduction in losses, and a little move up here, you should get more smoother ups. Hasn't happened yet though. Again, until we break this 821, there is nothing to talk about here. She's going to continue having a fallen knife syndrome, which I hope improves, but guess what? Doesn't matter what I hope. It's got all the failure in the world if it wants to. It is sitting on the S1 pivot. Fail this S1, S2 is at 0.025 cents. Which is exactly where I thought it may go. I've gotten very close to 0.025, 0.027, but that's not 0.025. I wanted that 0.025 because I said it would happen all the way back nearly a year ago. So there's my outlook on DAG. I broke that down because I know people have been wondering about it. I've recorded this. I'll put this on Twitter later. Hey, hey. Hey, hey, maybe it's working now. So as you know over here, everybody, I did nothing. I didn't change anything. Ah, good deal. So now Let's just start right back where we stopped and get right back into it. If you guys haven't done so, please go hit like. We only have like a few people on here. So go hit like and maybe we'll get more on. So ADS. So I've got the entire ADS chart pulled up here. If I go to linear mode or log mode, I can't really see all of the recent highs and lows. It's a very tiny little chart. So I'm going to flip it into linear mode here for a moment just so we can see potential breakouts, okay? He said not leave until he kicks me off. Are you guys still overseas, Light, or are you back in the States now? It doesn't really make a difference whether I'm in log or linear. It's the same thing. We did have a breakout here of the trend line, which was pretty cool. I'm glad to see this happen. The problem is we've run headlong into this resistance level right over here, as you see. It's just flatline resistance. It's kind of hitting. Didn't want to see that. I need to move this. Well, that's the price line. Yeah, okay, so we run flatline into that resistance. I don't like the hard fade, but I will say it's okay so long as it comes back and retests this bear market line, but doesn't fail it, much like we've seen with XRP, okay? I want to see this happen. I want to see ADS flip the other side of this, right? I want to see ADS get up over this 200 moving average. You know, realistically speaking, until it gets over this 200 moving average, we're SOL here. It's going to continue to get stuck. I like the fact that it's got the 50 and the 100 right here balled up, hanging on. That's good. Everything else is kind of struggle bussing, okay? That's a very sharp sell-off after buying. And we did have a bit of a trend break on the top side here too. So you got a double negative there, right? You got a trend break up and then a trend break back down. So it's probably going to chill out and go sideways here a bit on ADS. I think for that reason, we should probably hang out and wait on it a little bit. Pre-search. All right, So tough here on pre. It did make a new low. It scraped the bottom. It didn't make a low compared to the last bear market, but it did make a new low in comparison to what it had done previously last year. So the 2023 low right there in January, I took advantage of this move up. You can see where I bought. I actually sold all my pre-search up here. I didn't get it quite as high as I wanted to because I had to wait. Wasn't nothing I could do. But now we can kind of drag this fib on over here a little bit more and we can kind of see what pre-search is doing. So you guys aren't aware of this, but next week I have an interview coming up with Colin from Pre-Search, and that's kind of why I'm going over this right now. Colin's a cool dude. It's one of the few CEOs who've ever been down to earth enough to talk to me. So I'll be having an interview with him, and that'll be going up on YouTube shortly after I have the interview once I get it approved through them. So way up here at almost 5 cents as the 236 fib, and that's forever ago to get there. Now, I will say I like the volatility that this thing showed. Let me move this out of here. I like the volatility that this thing showed during this short run up, which is good. This shows me that it wants to make some volume and actually do something. I think once we do get over here toward the beginning of the year and things start turning the corner, that we should see pre-search start to improve. All right, it's got a long way to go. I think we can all agree it's got a long way to go. But once we do get that break of that 821 EMA, we do see that 50 moving average start to flip the right way for us, which is close, but it's not there yet. We should see some improvement. Again, kind of probably the same time frame as DAG and others. VET. Let's start with that one and bang through some of these real quick. VET. I've got it over here. Right there. All right. So it's still kind of stuck in the mud here. I do like the fact that it's holding on to this low right here and hasn't failed it yet. But the problem is, man, that's just a gnarly, slow fall down. Yeah. It hasn't shown me anything like it wants to break and go yet. Waiting on confirmation would be the best thing to do for me, as I think there could be more downside and more downside and more downside. And some of these alts, we know how they bleed. When it's not the bull market, they bleed slow, but it burns. All right. So I give this thing some time to improve itself. It hasn't done it yet. It's not even close. If it gets back over this 821 EMA, I would be a little hard pressed to say no. All these moving averages are very aggressively pointing down. That can't keep up forever. It's got to improve here at some point. But for now, for me, I can't do it. It's still too, there's no confirmation here for me, and that's not good enough for me. Apple. All right. Apple made a really gnarly move down over the last couple days here, but it did shoot that gap and pull back up some. I expect this gap to close, and then there might be more down. The good news is this thing was sailing over all-time high when this happened, so we are basically testing support now, which is good. I just need to see this thing turn the corner before I make any decisions. It's under the 50, under the 100, under the 821 EMA. Any up right here is capped off by the 50 moving average, so I don't like it in that aspect. I like it later to show me a little bit more confirmation first. I'm not sure about that dip there. I think that might have only been the precursor to a little bit more before we get some improvement. Google. Always type in, there we go, Alphabet. All right, so this one's still trending up. If you'll look closely here, we are heading into Sniper's Alley. Let me center this up for you. We are going into Sniper's Alley right about here. You see that there? Pushing into Sniper's Alley. It's not what I want to see. I'd like to see some more improvement on that one first. But it's still above the trend. There's no sell-off just yet where you saw that on Apple where it sold off. This one hasn't, which is awesome. So, hey, keep going. If this breaks Sniper's Alley and gets back over Sniper's Alley here, it's going to test all-time high. And if it tests all-time high, it's likely to break all-time high. Break all-time high, and then we're in a whole nother bull market all the way back up to 220. Doubt Google and watch what happens. PLTR. Palantir Technologies. All right. So big run up, kind of stopped here at Sniper's Alley. Let's pull this one off. Went up through our targets and blew right through them, which was awesome. You love to see something blow through a target on the upside. That's great. So we got a couple trend lines here. We got this one, which is way over off in space somewhere. And it looks like we may have broken one short term. We do have a head and shoulders forming right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Be careful. This may lend more to the downside because of that. But it has got some support here from the 100 moving average. If it can continue to hang on to the 100 and invalidate that head and shoulders by getting back over that 50-day moving average, which is in yellow right there. If it can get back over that, good to go. It just hasn't done it yet. That's the breaker. If it breaks that, she's good to go. If it doesn't break that, we're probably going to come down here and test this 200 at some point. Now, it may not run down to it, and the 200 may come up to it. Nonetheless, that's a head and shoulders. To invalidate it, you're going to have to come back up here. All right. Moving right along. Let's do Algorand, which had a pretty good day yesterday. All right. Hey, guess what? This thing is still down a ton. All right. Still below previous bear market lows. It's been miserable for Algorand because of this, and no momentum at all. No breakout. Nothing. I think the best we're going to get out of this is a 618 or a 786 on the top side. We have yet to show any sign that it wants to go toward that at all. I like how it's trying to make a bottom here, but you have no proof of anything yet. She's still stuck under everything. It did break the 8, but it's stuck under the 21, stuck under the 50. I can't. Sorry. I just can't. It's not good enough yet. For me, it's not good enough yet. WTK. I don't know if this is on here yet or not. It is, Bitcher. All right. WTK still hanging on to this uptrend line, which is awesome. I like that it tested this bear market line, but it didn't break it. That's the problem. I need to see it break this bear market line and make a move off of it, and it has not done so yet. In fact, it's directly under it, which shows me that it may want more down. Back to this trend line here. If it comes back to this trend line, it's likely to fail it. As you see, that is lower highs and lower lows, all forming a big wedge right into resistance. So if it can break out here, get over this bear market line over here to this side of things, that's awesome. That shows me a lot of, that would give me some confidence here in this. I Need you to be careful. It may fail on you and hurt your feelings. Still okay at the moment, but it's in a really tight spot. Roko. Not much chart here. Let's go pull up deck screener. Oh, look, a scan. All right, here's Roko. Daily here. All right, so this thing's kind of cruising north and a bit of an uptrend here. We've seen many do this. So this is a tough call here, but I didn't mean to draw that, sorry. This is a tough call here, but so long as this thing can get back above and stay above resistance here, or support, I'm sorry, support. Right about here is some support. Maybe down a little bit more. Right about there. As long as it can stay over this, it's all right. If we see it fall under this, then that downtrend has started and it's likely going to form a head and shoulders and fail. A lot of these look like this. These new launches look like this. They show this pattern at first and they have a long tail on the backside. They will eventually improve. This one has a very low market cap of only $4 million. Only $218,000 worth of liquidity. So there's not a ton of it floating around on the exchanges. So you should see this do well in the bull market, but I don't know about right yet. I don't know what it is either, or what they do, blah, blah, blah. None of that matters to me. I'm just looking at charts anyway. ICP. ICP has been talked about by me a good bit, and for good reason. I had many people tell me why this thing was doing what it's doing, but that's all just conjecture and doesn't really mean anything to me. What I see here is a hell of a downtrend that has yet to show any promise of coming back up. Now, I don't expect this thing to have some kind of crazy breakout run. I expect it to do what I said Algorand would do, which is the golden pocket or Sniper's Alley. But as you see, either one of those levels from where we are today, move them down there, would be, that's about a 25x and about a 80x to golden pocket or Sniper's Alley. This is why I'll be loading up on ICP. It's not got anything to do with the team or anything else. That's all there is to it. Now, on the bottom side of that, on the daily side of it, I don't like this bearish retest of this red box right here. This red box is Sniper's Alley. I'll pull fibs on it so you can see here. This is what gives me pause. All right, for the record, this wick is not on the other exchanges. It's only on KuCoin. So I'm disregarding this wick right here, not counting it. I'm just looking at the other ones. I don't like how this thing buckled and tested the bottom side of Sniper's Alley right here. I would prefer if it got over top of Sniper's Alley, and it's well under it. I need to see this break north, because if it does not do that soon and get back over top of that and recapture some stuff, it's facing more downside. It's as simple as that. This thing still has until the end of September to finish its move off. Here's some moving averages for you. Pinned under everything, they're all pointing down. That's it. I hate to break it to you, but that's it. This may take a while to get going as well. So even if I buy this at the bottom, I may be locking myself into liquidity that I didn't want to, based on the fact that it may take a while to get going. Solana. I'm here if I'm going to be buying a bunch of ICP, so don't get me twisted, all right? Don't get me twisted. Solana. People have asked me a lot about Solana. So first thing I see here on Solana for me is, first thing I see is all these moving averages all bunched up right over top of the price. That will not be easy to break. It will be a hard time coming. All right, pivots. It's under the main pivot, but it's on S1. So we could see a little bit of rocking back and forth toward 2150. But that would be a bearish retest of a failure level. We have a bit of a downtrend right here. I don't think that's very complicated to see, right? That needs to break. Once that breaks, that would make me feel a little bit better. However, this thing seems to be angling back to this 236 fib at about $17.80. There's also a purple trend line right there. You see that? And if we don't want to say that's it and it goes up here, fine. It's still angling down and still not broken the trend line. When this breaks this trend line, I would feel a lot safer about it, but it ain't done it yet. How about Maker? This is for you, Rich. At some point, brother, we're going to have to hang out and fulfill some lifelong dreams. Probably not for what you want to do, but it'd be really cool if you did. All right, so here's Maker. I haven't looked at this one a bunch, but it is in between a 236 and a 382. Performed pretty darn well. Have a bit of a head and shoulders forming here. I don't like that. To invalidate that, that thing needs to close above up here at like 1234, somewhere right in there. I like the fact that it's still in an uptrend. That's not bad. You could say it failed it over here though. And I would hear that argument and probably agree with you. All right, let's pull up some moving averages here. It's probably over all of them. It's right under the 50. Let's be careful. There may be some downside here to about 1020 first. Not bad, but not great. UPNM. UP. By the way, folks, if you have not done so, please do me a solid. It's not very hard to do, but here you go. I wanted to show you guys the new sign-in page for our Discord. This is bright white, and I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. All right, here we go. So this is our new page, wap.com/team786. wap.com/team786. We have 3 different levels of access. If you're not a member, here's your chance. You can get it for $16 a month for 1 free month. So you don't have to pay anything, 30-day trial. You can get it for $10 a month because we don't do $8 a month, no free trial. And you can do the yearly for $100 up front, and you get a 30-minute consult. Your choice on the 3. Everything's pretty simple. You can use Google Pay. You can use a debit card. You can use PayPal. You can use crypto. Up to you. Okay, you can pay in Ethereum. That's the only one they have. You can use a custodial wallet if you'd like. Check us out. Fairly easy to do, fairly cheap. I actually scrolled around through many, many other trading Discords. The cheapest one I found was $15, and it was crappy looking. All right, it was all in Russian. So that's why we do what we do. It's not very expensive. We're going to keep it that way. In April, the price will go back to $16, and there will be no $10 special. So don't say I didn't warn you. All right, UPNM. Yeah. Or UNPM. URNM. You're talking about uranium? Maybe that's what you're talking about. Oh boy, yeah, it might have been uranium. Yeah, we talked about these nuclear stocks over in Telegram when we had our Telegram run, and there was one guy who was very heavy with nuclear stocks and really, really liked them a lot. And they did perform pretty well. Now, I'll say this, it broke out. That's awesome, and it is trending up very well. It's probably running hot on the RSI. It is. So there may be some short-term pullbacks here, but as long as we stay above the uptrend line here, you have more upside on uranium here. I think it could continue going. It looks pretty darn good from here. SHX, Stronghold. I definitely ain't buying this one just because it's called SHX and it has the word strong in it. Yeah, it's a bit of a falling knife right now also. Pretty darn low volume, kind of stuck in the mud here. I think it may break loose in the bull market, but we'll see. I think some of these alts are going to be limited by the amount of money that can come into them that comes out of Bitcoin and Ethereum, kind of what's needed. It has to make a move and transition from one to the next. All right. Let's see. Oh, back in the States. That's nice. I'm glad y'all back. Then again, I loved being over there, and I loved being over in Asia. It was awesome. It was awesome. I can't wait to go back, honestly. Matic. So this one had a really good performing into the bear market and this year. However, things have stopped and slowed down dramatically, and now we're on the back side of that. The good news about that is I like the fact that this thing did what it did early because it sets the stage for the bull market for this thing to really ramp up on the weekly and higher time frames and show us it wants to flex. It's sitting in the golden pocket right now. As you see, this thing has till December to make its move. Sitting in the golden pocket, we can either break loose of this trend line now, which has not happened. I'll stretch it down some more here. This can break loose of this trend now in the golden pocket, or we're going to fail down here to Sniper's Alley. One of the two. That's the two options. It hasn't done either, and since it's under, I'm inclined to believe more down. Until something breaks, that's just how I see it. AVAX. Boy, oh boy, AVAX. This thing is threatening to go down to single digits and stay down there. All right. Big, massive sell pressure. We had all this big move up in the bull market. All for naught. It's already erased every bit of that and gone lower. I don't like the bearish retest on the bottom of resistance here. Not great. That needs to improve rapidly. And if it does not improve rapidly, it's only going to get uglier. So let's see this thing do something. I need to see it improve really fast, really quickly. It's getting hammered by sell pressure in every direction. If I'm not mistaken, they're minting tokens until the end of the year. So that should continue to put sell pressure on the minting, because when you increase supply, you lower demand. Quant. Where are you, Quant? There it is. Similar to Matic, similar to Morpheus Network, these few charts all look the same. I like how Quant hasn't had a humongous failure, but I want to warn you, it is stuck under this fib line. You could argue it's over the fib line, and I would also hear that argument from it. But as you see, it's still also in a big bear market here. And if we erase that one wick, I don't want to do that, but if we erase that one wick and this fib ends off in 2026 at the end of the bull market, we could pull this line even tighter, and we may see that this thing tails off a little faster. And we'll know that once we get a break here. We have not got a break yet. It's still full on sell pressure. No matter how I want to draw a trend line here, it's full sell pressure. No buy pressure at all here. So until I see a influx of buy pressure and a lack of failing, I can't do it on Quant. Link. Boy, Link. We're going to talk about it. This heifer right here. So it's just continued to stay dead ass in this range. Every time it seems like it wants to fail, it comes off of the trend and goes the other direction. And here you see a pretty darn clear trend break. Now, if I pull this like so, you could argue that we're still under trend. If I put the moving averages up here, you'll see that the 50 moving average is kind of angling down very sharply toward the 200. You're about to get a death cross. All these moving averages are out of order. They need to switch. They all need to switch into the correct order. And this thing needs to chop sideways even more. You know, as crappy as that sounds, it's the way it is. If I flip on the weekly chart here, here's weekly, kind of capped off by the 50 moving average on the weekly. 200 moving average doesn't even exist yet on this one. Let me see if I can find the larger chart for Link. There we go. There's the full chart for Link. 200 moving average is way up here on the weekly. That kind of shows us a guiding light on where things will go eventually. The 100 is still pressing down. If I flip the Bollinger Bands on this, I want you to look at how tight they are on the weekly. They're tight, but they can get tighter. So I think we may have even more sideways here before we actually see something important happen. But I do think we're going to get a good price here on Link. Maybe just not yet. Quanos. All right. Similar story on Quanos, as I said earlier on that one from the DEX. I like how it's kind of maintained support here, but the problem is it hasn't broken anything important. Just keeps fluttering back and forth. It looks a lot like Pepe, to be honest with you. And when I see a breakout, I would not hate buying it because I think you've formed a pretty good floor here. This thing may just flutter around and do nothing, though. Hate for your liquidity to get trapped and not be able to get back out. That would suck. Let's do KDA, Kadena. Kadena still stuck, falling knife, as you see. It has done absolutely nothing in this bear market, much like many, many other alts. No matter how I draw this one, it is a double ugly deuce of a chart. No good. I need to see some improvement rapidly from this one. Couple more requests in here. Alto. He said I'm late, but I'm alive. Yeah, just let me know, brother. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of traveling. I'll be in New York in December. January, I'll be in Florida at some point as well. I'm not sure when. Whatever. We'll figure something out, dude. Alto. Let's pull up Alto. Alto, is that a DEX? Probably a DEX, isn't it? Alto. Sorry for the bright screen. They don't have a dark mode yet. I don't have an Alto. Sorry. Trias. So Trias, Guis, good to see you. Trias will be the last one. Then we'll move on to the Zoom after that because we've already been almost an hour. Trias. Perfect. Hard to chart this one, not much there. Got a bigger chart somewhere? Yeah, there we go. All right, so it's got a bit of a cap here on the price. A lot like we've seen some other ones do. A lot of drawings here. Let me remove some. It's got support and resistance. It's kind of stuck in range here, what it looks like. Stuck in range. It's stuck under support, but it does appear to be over the trend. No. Careful here. This has failed. And that's a bearish retest on Trias. I bet you we get some more down here toward the $3.50 to $3 range on Trias. I bet that rolls over and slows down quietly. Alto is a stock, not a crypto. I know what you meant. All right. Yeah, boy, look at that thing move. Goodness gracious, this one's volatile. Boy, it's a long way down though, isn't it? Holy shit, look at that. It's a bit of a falling knife. But right now it's come up. I'm going to tell you what, I don't like the ass. I don't like the looks right now. I think that's a little bit too much, too fast on the upside. I think that needs to slow down a little bit. Everything's cooked on the indicators. It's kind of hitting resistance. I bet you get a little bit more down before you get a buy sell signal. That's on the weekly. In the daily, it's even worse. You may have a little bit more up here on the daily short-term frame though. You are over every moving average, so don't hate it if you're still in it. It's not a sell signal, but downside would be capped. Upside would be capped by the resistance right here. I need to see that improve. It kind of seems like it just made a higher support level, and it's kind of holding flat, steady here, which kind of sucks, but that's not the end of the world. It's all good. No, that's fine. I don't mind it. What else? So already been through a bunch here. If you haven't done so, please wap.com/team786. We're a hell of a family. We keep it real. We try not to ever bullshit anybody. It's only a few dollars. It's basically the same cost as a venti latte at your favorite coffee shop. Tomorrow we have a video coming out on Ripple Van Winkle's channel. We did an interview today, lasted over an hour. Dude listened to everything I said, was really cool and cordial, and that's a very needed thing. Listen, that's a very needed thing in the crypto space. Not enough times does that happen where people are cordial and inviting and want to talk about things. Everyone always wants to just argue about everything. A lot of us out there are Team XRP. I'm Team XRP. Just don't like all the BS. I like the charts. I just want the charts to be what talks. We had a pretty good conversation that'll be released tomorrow. It's exciting. Like I said, we got Colin coming up. I see big things on the horizon here. Okay. This is the same thing that happened last time. We had little baby steps and then things really got rolling. So you better get in here and join the team while you can, because things are going to get hectic. Also, there will be a cap put on the Discord and will only be so many people allowed in. Sorry, that's just the way it is. wap.com/786. Thank you all for watching. We're going to jump over in the Zoom now for subscribers only. They're the only ones that get to hang out for the Zoom for hours and get drunk and talk about whatever you want. I appreciate every single one of you coming on here and sticking it out while the damn streaming software and the YouTube wouldn't connect up, but it's fixed now. Let the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. That's Jay-Z. In the words of the late, great, notorious B.I.G., it could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me. I appreciate that. Sky's the limit, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Y'all be good. Peace.